Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the EGA Season 11 Coalossal Power Rankings. I'm your host, Leo. You asked for them, and for some reason, I was the idiot who decided to deliver. A couple of parameters. This is a single opinion. It's for fun. Don't get too mad. If you have a difference of opinion, throw it in the comments. I'm sure we'll have a fun time. Number 2, this is just a ranking of the teams for the post-draft. It's not indicative of what I think of a coach's skill or anything. Any team lower down can easily win the league. It all depends on coach's skill and profile. It's just post-draft. Okay. Number 16, we got Panda. Now, the problem with Panda's team, Panda AA, is look, the third week round 1 was extremely funny. But you've also got Grookey and Volby, and somehow I both hate this team the most and love this team at the same time, because you have complete garbage, and then which just ruins this completely. Like, there's so many holes on this team because of what you've decided to do. And you've also got a Bomber Star. You've got 3 grass types on this team. They're grass types, man. Chill. But then you've got Terra Tapu Lele, you've got Terra Iron Hands, you've got Gouging Fire, and you've got Bax. You've also got 2 Dragon types, but let's ignore that for a moment. And Keldeo and Glimmora are decent. It's just like, this is so like, it's just like that metronome that bounces back and forth so rapidly. It's that image of like, oh my god, this is completely garbage. Oh my god, this is awesome. Oh my god, this is completely garbage. Oh my god, it's awesome. I don't know, like, your hazards are okay because you've got a Glimmora. You have, I guess you have Mortal Spin, but otherwise your hazard is pretty terrible. I don't love a hazard remover, which is rock weak and stays rock weak all of the time. Your momentum is it's okay, I guess, but again, it's these two. I mean, your team can definitely function with like your best mons. I mean, or you could just run like Turtwig and be funny. I don't know. Your speed tiers are awful. Like, I don't know what this gap is about. And then you're down at Lele. Like, no. And then this is really all tightly packed together, and then you're getting down to Grookey and Turtwig. My eyes melting in my skull. Let's get away from this. 16. It's funny, but 16. 15, we have Silver. So Silver has, back to the real world. Terra Ogerpon Cornerstone. We've got Terra Slurpuff, and that's all solid enough. There are some good Terras there. Slurpuff is kind of scary with the belly drum. However, this team doesn't really have a special attacker, and I say that because Mega Charizard does not run special attacks when it has Tough Claws. I've never seen one do that. I mean, sure, Silver could prove me wrong, but could prove me wrong. Maybe Mega Charizard X is your special attacker of choice, but maybe you have the physical attackers to do that. I don't know. But because below that you have a Starmie who will never get analytic boosts, and you have a Cofagrigus, and I have very little respect for Starmie, and Cofagrigus is fine, but it's definitely not the be all and end all. So, and I mean, you're very ground weak, and you're solidly ice and fire weak. So what's working with this team? I mean, you have the best rapid spinner in the game, so there's that. Task gives you rocks, and it's good rocks and spikes. So your hazards are decent. You got a decent defogger to back that up. You got random webs on Slurpuff. Okay, that's fine. Your momentum's fairly good, but yeah, like, you're kind of lacking for Spadef. you're kind of lacking. You're definitely lacking for some attack, so you're really leaning to the physical attack and phys def here to try carry over the line. I think. A few too many holes, unfortunately, but yeah, some 15. Number 14. We have Canute. You know, a couple of good terrors. I'm sure I don't need to tell you why Taunt is a very good terror, and you know, Terra Normal Arcanine can give you a point of difference. So you know that's good from Canute. Has Regen Core, very nice. Has okay hazards. Hiss Rot is a very nice hazard setter, and Swampert solid rocks. Galaking is okay for sending to these bikes some of the time. My problem, however, is not so much the hazard setters, it's the hazard removal here. And it's not because Taunty is bad, and it's not because Sizzle's bad. They're both good at what they do. You are, however, running a Hiss Rot, and you are only running Defog. This is a problem. Also, your momentum's actually quite good, but your speed is okay, I guess. Sure, your speed's okay. It's not like phenomenal. 121 to 95 is a bit of a gap there, but okay. It's a very flying weak team. It's definitely somewhat fighting weak. It's definitely got a bit of weakness to rocks. So yeah, and I know it's mean to pick on a mod like Beartick, but it's the 9th mod on the team, and I don't know what it gives you, because it's not giving you priority on this team. Because Samurot's just a better Aqua Jetta for starters. That's ignoring everything else. In terms of damage, like Sizzle's just better. Megalopunny's just better. You don't have hail. Sorry, you don't have snow. You don't have rain. I don't know. And which essentially just leaves you with 8 mods. It's got a terrible defense typing, so it leaves you with 8 Pokemon, and that can get very. And if people are going from the start, okay, this person only has 8 Pokemon, it's a lot easier to prep for than, oh god, this person has 11 Pokemon, and going like, I can't decide what I'm prepping against, whereas to go, oh, it's 8, and then sometimes you can narrow that down to 7, and then the teams are a lot more preppable for. So that's a problem. So there's a few holes here. This special attack is okay with Hydrapple, Taunt and Galaking. Sure, there's enough base power there to go around. Your physical damage is good. Your bulk is decently solid. I guess Galaking is your main Spidefmon here for sure. Yeah, you got Chilly Reception too. Your momentum's very good, so that's definitely helping. Team number 13, we have Sage Spike. Okay. So Sage Spike has a Terra Shifu single now. That's very good, and has a Terra Gliscor. That's very good. So you have 2 very good mons here. Now, he's got decent enough hazard removal. Okay, he's got decent enough hazards. As Gliscor does everything, and then Registeel is a nice alternative rocker. He's got some good U-turners. There's okay speed, but this is where the problems kind of start, because, well, you see the Cinderace and it drags his team down by a few spots automatically, but I don't know 100% what this speed tier is giving you when you have a Cyclozar, okay, or I don't know what this speed tier is giving you other than maybe outspeeding 120s, but there aren't a ton of 120s around. So they're a bit close, and again, Pyreball misses half the time. Cyclozar's not the strongest mon to have as your fastest, so yeah, so you're kind of left with Thundy. there's no outright type weaknesses or anything. Your team's not like frail. It's got good momentum. It does, however, feel like you got a lot of tankier mons. There's a fair few tankier mons here. Some mons that don't do damage, some mons that will miss their attacks. Thundy can be a bit reliant on birds because the Hazard was only decent. Gliscor can't do everything at once. Sometimes it wants to be offensive and you can't do that sometimes if you're trying to. Can't set hazards all the time with that, which leaves the job only on Registeel to get rocks up. So like these terrors are very good and Mega Venusaur's solid, but it feels like you're leaning a lot on on your two terrors here to get a lot of your work done for me. So that probably knocks his team down a little bit, and that combined with Cinderace probably knocks it down enough for me. But yeah. Number 12. We got Raikou. Raikou has a Terra Latias, which is okay, I suppose. Levitate. Terra Tapu Bulu is interesting. Terra Tapu Bulu could really use Terra Blast, and I know I can't legally learn it, but if it could, it'd make it so much better because then it could actually run Terra Blast Fairy and hit things. But otherwise, it's alright, I guess. It's obviously being weak to Sludge Bomb, I suppose. Sorry. You're a bit Fairy weak. You got okay Rockers, sure. T-Spikes is alright on Sneasler. I'd probably would have hoped for a bit more hazards to complement the Goldingo pick. But you know, your hazard removal's pretty good with Blastoise and Lati, so. And your momentum's okay with Bellabolt and Toys and Sneasler. Your bulk's decent. You've only got a bit of a fairy weakness, sure, okay. And it's very good Fizz Def, it's very solid attack and, you know, very solid special attack. You're not solely relying on Mega Pidgeot to run your special attack unlike some other teams that I've seen, so that's good. I don't know, it's got some solid pieces, but for whatever reason this team just isn't quite doing it for me. It just doesn't scare me that much. Like, Crocodile is probably just not consistent enough to get Moxie off as much as you'd like. And I mean, Goldango's, from my experience, can be a bit more hamstrung in draft. It just, being able to prep easy for Goldango rather than for a whole meta that includes Goldango, definitely I think can make Goldango's life a lot trickier than it otherwise might be. I mean, Terra Latias is okay, but Sneasler is the only one that I'm going like, wow, I'm scared of Unburden, I'm scared of Diaclaw, and I'm scared of Banded with Poison Touch and CCs and whatnot. Well, not, which is odd because you should be going, oh, this mon just gets walled by Poison type Slamear, skill issue. But yeah, I don't know. It's the only one I look at and go like, this mon is going to 6-0 me. The other ones are like, have a lot of nuisance value, but it feels like it's enabling Sneasler most of the time here. And again, I don't know what Avalog's doing here because you already have a Blastoise, but yeah, it's not Terralog. And Velobolt and Miltanker's okay, but yeah, only that. I don't know, it's a bit of a personal preference one for me. I think we'll move on. Shade at number 11. What makes this team this team. Terra Ogerpon's decent, Terra Typhlosion's decent, so you know, 2 decent Terras. It's not a 9-1 team, although his Quillfish is probably a bit better than something like a Beartic, so okay. 2 Eviolite users, sure. Iron Valiant and Garchomp are very scary. Zapdos is solid. Yeah, these are definitely 2 scariest mons by a probably significant distance. Hazards are okay, probably fairly good. Removal's okay. You're only. I mean, P2 might get teleport. I can't remember. But otherwise, your momentum users are okay. Even if there's only 3 of them, it's alright. You are ground weak, sure. It's a Zapdos, I suppose, but you know, if you're roosting, then that's a bit of a risk. I think if you had a stronger Terra, this team would probably be higher up, and also like your immediate speed is not great because like look, there's plenty of mons that have a fair amount of speed here, but only a fair amount of speed. There's nothing lightning quick. You have to invest your Terra into Ogerpon to get the +1 speed boost, or you have to run Boost Iron Valiant, it feels like, because if you don't do either of those things, then teams will outrun you very easily, it feels like to me. So yeah, that's just something to bear in mind, because it's a bit forcing in terms of your prep, but it's not a world ender. You at least have those like things you can use to mitigate the problem, and they're like yeah, okay, these are decent Terras, but again, nothing amazing. Yeah, I mean, your damage is good, your bulk's possible. Maybe use a bit more special bulk, but there's some Eviolite shenanigans, so what do I know. Team number 10 now. Team number 10, we have Lucas. Lucas has some really great Terras. Now, Terra Gothitelle is terrifying because Shadow Tag is just busted. Forcing pretty much Shed Shell on anyone that doesn't want to get trapped is huge. Unfortunately, no Terra Blast, so you can't quite do as much as you want to. With trapping any mon on the opposing team, but it's still a very, very good Terra. And Zorora is so ridiculously quick with the good enough damage where the Terra really can help it, because Terra fighting with CC could be quite potent, for example. You've also got, I mean, you go Terra Water with Volt Absorb and just be very annoying like that. Like, your team's very fast. Up top, Zorora, Iron Bundle, yeah, okay. Ogre Wellspring is very threatening. Tinglu is super solid down the other end. You know, the Petron's are right there. Your momentum is very solid. Petr also has Parting Shot in that. Like, these are all very solid users. You only got Defoggers, which is a bit unfortunate, especially because it's really kind of forced to be Corviknight, and that kind of upsets the Tinglu, who's your only hazard setter and is potentially wanting to set spikes. So you have to pick between defogging and spiking potentially a lot of the time, which is not ideal. Yeah, I mean, ideally there'd be something between Bundle and Ogre Wellspring, but can't have everything. Your team is definitely Ice Weak. Freeze Dryers will tear it apart, but again, a fair amount of teams fall into that. Throw is okay as a 9th mon. It's not too bad. It's got just enough stats to probably go like, yeah, this is an okay 9th mon, but again, you'll probably just be running these 8 most of the time. And your damage isn't super high. Like, highest is 124 here. It's helped a bit by like the Wellspring Mask. That's fine. Pixelate is fine to make Altaria, but you know, and there's a couple of high space foundries like Hydro Pump, but the problem is Bundle misses Hydro Pump. So that makes your special attackers not ideal, and like this, it's a bit better on this side because of Rogapon and Zeraora having higher physical attack and Tinglu and stuff like that. But yeah, so there's not much damage as I'd love to see given the state of the meta. You're very ghostly, you're very weak. Okay, we can. That's workable. Depends how often throw comes, and depends if Gothita wants to Terror or not. But yeah. Yeah, like it's a decent enough team. I think it belongs in 10th for me. Team number 9. We have Zeb strike him down. You know, decent terrors. Blaziken's alright. Can be a little frail, but it is very potent once it gets going, and Terra can definitely help with that, and it can definitely help with secure KOs as well, that it otherwise might not, so yeah, very solid. Swallow's a decent backup. Got one of the better rapid spinners and treads. Rotom is a good defogger. Your Hazard's a good, like, your rocks are fairly settled. You know, you can run T-Spikes and Spikes, although, again, Roselia isn't probably my first choice, so it's kind of one of each, really. And on that note, Roselia and Porygon are kind of just not, kind of non-factors here. You'd have to be very brave to pick them. And Zebtrika is definitely a mascot pick. It's a Zebstrika. I mean, it's got decent enough speed, and so it helps there a bit, I guess. But yeah, team's definitely a bit ground weak, and it's only got the one rock resist. So that's not ideal, but Iron Treads is fairly good into rock moves, so it can help with the spinning. Your offensive power it's decent. Like Dragalge's got adaptability, to help out. You know, you got Plot, Rotom Wash, I guess, Mega Diancie. Can't run a boosting item, but 160 is still very good. A bit more solid on the physical side with Weavile, Treads, and Blaziken. Yeah, okay. I think it's solid enough offensively. It's definitely not the bulkiest team I've ever seen. But you know, actually there's quite a few Pheromons, but that's a bit dragged down by Roselia and Porygon in this stat spread down the bottom. So I can understand, like with Eviolite and stuff, if you do choose to run them, or even if you're not running them, if you remove them, this would be decently higher. So, the averages, but you know, I've seen frailer teams. Your momentum's very solid as well. Like, it's quite good, so there is that as well. So I think this is a very, and your speed's a little sacky up the top, but okay, it's not too bad. Yeah, overall I like this team. There's a couple of holes here, but you know, I like it. Team 8. Team 8, we have Terra. Terra, the terror of the jungle, has a Raging Bolt who will turn the jungle to cinders with a lightning bolt to strike all the rainforest trees. And we also have Terra Necrozma. Now, these are two of the best Terras on the board, in my opinion. And yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't know what else you want from me. Even without Terra Blast, these are very scary. Necrozma is one of the poster trials for like bulky setup. Terra makes it even more effective. Enamorus is extremely solid. That kind of thing. You know, you got Alamomola and you got Donphan, so they're very good defensively. A little lacking on the Spadef side. You kind of only got Heatran, but Fizdef you covered. Your damage is okay. Damage is definitely fine. You got good rockers, decent spikes. You've got a decent rapid spinner of Donphan. Your momentum, you've only got 3 momentum users, but you know, they all are very good at doing their job as momentum users, so that's nice. You definitely have a few type weaknesses, like the fairy weakness isn't great, the ground weakness isn't great, and a lot of mons will be running ground mode because of Heatran. There's a lot of ice weaknesses, but there's a fair amount of ice resist, so that balances out a bit. I think it's fortunate you have picked up a Namorous, because one of the best fairy ground spammers is going to be on your team at least, so that will help. Your speed's okay, there's a bit of a gap from Meowscarada to an Amorous, and otherwise it's not like the fastest team I've ever seen, but yeah, there's a bit of a clump here, but I have seen worse, so there's that going for you, I guess. Mega Glalie is interesting, it's kind of always weak to rocks, and speed is kind of not amazing, but Refrigerate with the guaranteed high base power from return is very solid, so you know, overall, a few type weaknesses, maybe one more momentum use would help this team, and use some special bulk, but its damage is very solid, and Terra Raging Bolt, Terra Necrozma are terrifying, with Enamorous is a very good backup, and Meowscarada is very nice to annoy things. Number 7, it's me. Yeah, it's me. Why am I so low? I've got no idea why I put myself so low. It's definitely not because I thought I would get lynched by the people, hung by my thumbs in the market square for all to laugh at. So what do I like about my own team? Terra Steel and Terra Quaquaval is extremely good in my opinion. Really like that. Kyurem, very nice. Clef and Rotom, very solid. Azelf is a nice solid mid-tier pick. And there's a lot of like lower tier mons which are, you know, all have their niches, but you know, none of them like are amazing, but all have their niches. And then there's an Armaldo, I guess, in the back because I didn't know what else to pick. Like I'm always getting rocks down if I really want them, you know. There's an okay T-Spiker. Rapid's hazard removal, like default's good, but I don't know how often I'm getting to run Rapid Spin on Quaquaval. I can, but it depends. If I want to be going offensive Quaquaval, then that's a bit more difficult to run because I'd just rather run Aqua Step. But yeah, momentum is, you know, pretty good. There's Teleport Clefable. If I ignored Teleport Clefable, it's not because I wanted to, I just didn't remember it until I was doing some prep. There's some prep with Clefable and it's like, oh, this has Teleport, so earlier video didn't mention that, I'm sorry. You got decent enough momentum here, 2 volt switches and whatnot. Like the speed is kind of all over the place, however, so that's not great. Like 150 to 115 and then down to 95 where there's 2 of them, and then 86 to 85. The speed's all over the place, I'm not gonna lie. The bulk is alright, it's not like amazing. Like I like my damage is pretty good. You know, the rock weakness and the ghost weakness isn't ideal, but well, the rock weakness is actually quite bad. Nah, the Drayfield's not coming every week for the ghost weakness, but I think I've got enough positives here to throw me into 7th spot, honestly. Like, they can all do something, it's just they're also our low tiers for a reason, so yeah. So that's me. Number 6, we've got Hopeless. Now Hopeless's team has Terra Volcarona, so that's very solid. Terra Espeon is alright. Terra Espeon's alright. If you click Terra Psychic, it's gonna hit really hard, as long as they're not got a dark type. You know, I mean, no Terra Blast kind of hurts both of them though as Terramons, but okay, they're still fine. Lander T, Tapu Fini, Darkrai, Kartana, Annihilate, these are all very solid mons. So this team is very much like, it feels like it's carried by its top 7, and then it's kind of, Mega Manectric's alright, then Garbodor, Aurorus, and Smeargle are really just feeling like, what are you doing here? Like Smeargle is a small niche, but I don't know, Garbodor just does not, I know from experience, Garbodor does not do enough. Aurorus does not do enough, especially without like a Terra option. It's going to be very weak to a lot of things. On the other hand, you know, Landorus is a very good rocker. You got a good suite of defoggers. Your momentum's decent. It's not amazing, and you don't use on Volcarona that much, but you know the others are okay. And yeah, your damage is really high. Like you got so many special attackers, and your physical attackers you do have are really strong. And he's got Rage Fist, Annihilate, and his speed is just like I haven't even gotten to his speed. His speed is phenomenal. His speed is just phenomenal. I don't know what else you could use to describe this. It's just insane. Insane how good it is. So, speed tiers is just, yeah, it's good. So, overall, like, I mean, maybe it's missing like a slow mon, but that's a very minor nitpick. Yeah, not the tankiest team I've ever seen, but it's decent enough to get by and hopefully use a bit of that momentum to get in like Wall Breaker Terrors or you know set up Quiver Dance. Darkrai is so threatening and Kartana is so threatening, and Annihilate is always forcing you to double guess yourself because it gets Rage Fist stacks. So yeah, it's a very scary team for me. It's number 6. Number 5 we have Flap. It has Terra Diancie and Terra Greninja, so I'll start with Greninja. Battle Bond is a very good thing for Terra because Terra kind of pushes it over the edge to potentially get some KOs and help it get that late game sweep. You know, because otherwise, you know, it is a Greninja at the end of the day. Its offensive stats aren't great. On the flip side, we have a Diancie, and now Diancie does a very good job at bulky setup, and it's even better when it's got Terra. So yeah, I like the Terra options. Looking at the rest of the team, like he's got really good hazard options here. Like Ferrothorn is so solid. And you've got a Rapid Spinner. Serena's a good mid-tier Rapid Spinner. There's you know a couple good defog options. There's some good momentum as well. Okay priority. Priority denial in Serena, so that's fun. Landorus and Moltres really carry a special attack. You got some really nice physical attackers. You are very weak, kind of, because Moltres and Ferrothorn are that solid. You can kind of get away with it. Wobbuffet might force a random Shed Shell, and I look forward to hearing about that at some point during the season. That'll be very funny. Spiri is... I like Spiri. I like a lot of the mons of this team. I like Spiritomb. I like Serena. I like Ferrothorn. Although having two grass types isn't ideal. I mean, I like Moltres. I like Diancie. I like Snorlax. God damn it, I like so many of these mons. Yeah, it's like the top end speed's okay. The team is a bit has a lot of mons that are a bit slower. Sure. I don't remember if anything here learns Trick Room, but maybe there's something to that. The bulk is fairly good, and that's even with Wobbuffet kind of dragging this down. Like these are pretty good all around. The HP is alright. The damage is very good. I like this team a lot. There's not a lot of flaws. Yeah, I like this team. Alright. Get to our top 4 now. We got Fluffy. I mean, this team could have been number 1. This team could have been number 1 because I rate Reynard Charudon that high in with Terra, and then also has Terra Zarude. Now it is a 9-mon team, which is a little bit restrictive, but okay. And Steelix is kind of the only one that wants to consistently run rocks, and it's Steelix. Like there's 2 steel types, there's 2 poison types, there's 2 water types, and all this kind of stuff. 2 flying types, 2 dark types. there's a lot of double ups here on a small team. Like, yeah, no, these two don't share a weakness, so there's that at least. This team, it gets slaughtered by freeze drive, but again, other ice types have a pretty good time against it, but alright. I mean, I don't know. It's got like overquill's decent with hazards. Although, how often do you want to run at Swift Swim? Like, he's got really good hazard removal, however. He's got really solid momentum. He's got a Mega Metacham in the back. He's got Terrapagos to always take a hit and threaten a late game sweep. With Terra Starstorm, like, his damage doesn't look that high, kind of like Lucas's does, but he's even better at covering for that because Rain, in many ways, because Rain, if he can keep that up, augments his damage a lot more. Lucas's one is lesser in its bonus, but it's more consistent. Whereas this one trades that in for I have a Terra Archaeudon, good luck. And, you know, Rain boosted stuff from Pelipper and Rain liquidations for Overquill and, you know, stuff like that. Rain boosted Wave Crash from Vascular Legion terrifies me, having used it, so I think I know. I have a vague idea what I'm talking about there. Yeah, overall, like, this team has a couple of things holding it back. Like, its speed isn't phenomenal. It's kind of relying on Rain. There's a 3 stack of 85 here, but the double Swift Swim is very good. I mean, I don't know. It's, yeah, this team is number 4, but man, look out. Number 3, we have Lamazza. Now, Lamazza, you've got some decent terrors, I guess. Just, you know, feels a bit weird to say, being this high up the draft, me only going, you got decent terrors, but yeah, here we are, I guess. Like, Deoxys speed is nice with Psycho Boost. For me, this team is just, like, kind of, in many ways, it's a little all-round solid, I guess. I mean, your two, like, main type weaknesses here, it's kind of like Quilladin, and how often you're really running Quilladin. Although, in saying that, that also makes you a bit weak to ground now that I'm looking at that, so swings and roundabouts. Yeah, I don't know, Megas, you got things on lock on the physical side with these ones. A little lacking on the special side, but, you know, Psycho Boost with Terra Psychic. You got Pixelate Sylveon, Plot Infernape maybe, so there's some mitigation to help you out. A speed gap from Deoxys speed to Roaring Mood isn't ideal naturally, but unlike some other teams, this has got like below Roaring Mood there's a 111, there's a 108, there's a 100, like, you know, it fills out the high speed very well. And then 100 to 90 is okay, 90 to 75 is okay-ish. And yeah, you know, and Sizzle's got priority anyway. Like, this team has some very good priority options. And even E-Speed on this. Terra Normal Shenanigans, hello, giving you ideas. Ideas I probably shouldn't be. I mean, yeah, like, the momentum's really solid, like, really, really good. And the hazards are really good, and it's a shame, however, that you've only got defoggers on a team that really would love a rapid spinner. But your physical damage is super strong. Your bulk is very serviceable in a lot of areas. Like, special bulk is honestly kind of unlocked between Sylveon and Clodsire, if I'm being real, and Roaring Moon can always take a hit. And on the other side, I guess you got Mega Sizzle, and Paladins can take a hit. It's not as great. Vigoroth, however, is very funny. It's certainly more funny than Quilladin to me. So, you know, if you want to do something funny with Vigoroth, go ahead. Yeah, I don't know. For me, this team just works. It just clicks for me. It's why it's number 3. And, you know, you've got the good boy Clods. Number 2, Dact. We got Dact at number 2, and you look at this team sheet and you immediately start with two really strong terrors in Coco and Melmetal. That's really good. And then the team synergy starts to really broaden out here. You've got Quark Dry Iron Moth, that's great. You've got Unburdened Driftblim, that's great. So there's some synergy with Coco. Yeah, you've got a lot of bulky DDs. You've got two bulky DDs and Dinite and Mega Gyarados. You have Earth's Blood Moon, Spin Earth's Blood Moon. It's really, like, you got two of the best special attackers in the game here, so that's insane. And then you just got kind of Spite Ops at the back to just go like, I can provide webs support, and that, you know, that helps this team out in speed, because, you know, it's not incredible for speed. You know, the top is decent. The top is decent. There's a bit of a stack here, honestly, but with the amount of like bulky setup, like bulky DDs, and like, you know, you've got Terra Coco and Electric Surge to do stuff, and Moth and Blood Moon, and you know what, like, this team can just deal out so much damage. And sure, it's a bit rock weak, but ideally, like, you know, with the defog here, you can help mitigate that a bit. You can Terra this early and help mitigate that a bit. I don't know how often you bring Spite Ops, so that lessens that a bit. I mean, yes, ideally you'd have a Rapid Spinner to back up the fact you have webs, but unfortunately you have some very solid ability to pivot, so there is that as well. Well, it's not incredible, but it's there. And yeah, this is very much feels like a case if you can't stop us all. This is a ninth mon with a niche for sure, and then these 8. Again, there's a bit of a restriction on. He probably will only bring this 8, but he might bring webs. Sorry, I have to bring some mitigation for that. And these 8 are just terrifying. Like, this is the jack of all trades. This is that can glue your team together. These are two of the best special attackers in the game. These are two extremely good bulky DDs. I'm repeating myself and I know that, but I don't care. Like, this mon bandit is terrifying. Yeah, I like this team a lot, despite some of its flaws. Leaves us number 1. It's Kyle. Kyle, I mean, man, Terra Shifu Rapid and Terra Sinistra is not fair. It's not fair. Terra Sinistra is such an annoying Carmine to deal with, and then you give it Terra. And then you've got Terra Shifu Rapid, which is just super solid. Yeah, and I mean, you started off with Dragon Bolt, you got a Mega Mawile, like, you have so many pivot options as well. You're always getting spikes down, sorry, stealth rocks down. You're always have the chance to get spikes down. T-spikes are an option. You have like the best sticky webber. You have a very solid rapid spinner who can also momentum out. Like, yeah, momentum's really good. Your speed is very solid, and sticky web also helps that out as well. Yeah, like, I mean, Yuxi, this is a 10-mon team. You got Yuxi as your number 7 here at 95. I think we're doing fairly okay here in terms of your pace. Maybe it's a little close, but oh well. They are still different, so like, you keep them on a Tentacruel and you hit them with standing shocks in the base 100, so that's fine. This team, I think the main thing holding it back for me, because, you know, it does a lot of damage, it's got a lot of bulk, it's got a lot of pivot, and whenever you're getting Terra Shiva Rapid and Mega Mawile and stuff like this into positions where it can just do stuff like wall breaking Iron Jugulus as well, it just does stuff. Like, the biggest weakness on this team is some of its type weaknesses, and these are holding it back a bit. And its bulk is, it's okay, it's not phenomenal, but I really like its damage overall. Yeah, I think that'll do it. I think that'll do it. Alright, thank you so much for watching, guys, these power rankings. yeah, it's been a pleasure. Now they are signing out. Ciao.